the early 2000s, Le Mans wasn't about the future or like designing the best car that would suit the average person in terms of its technological development. It was about just straight up brute force on the racetrack. Massive diesel engines, straight line speed, and one team controlling everything. You had Audi and Peugeot who dominated LMP1 with diesel powered machines. There were no real hybrid systems yet, so the focus was on racing instead of overall fuel usage and efficiency. Because of that, Porsche had no real reason to join, but in 2011 that changed. Automobile Club de l'Ouest, or the Western Automotive Club, announced that Le Mans would begin prioritizing hybrid energy systems and efficiency over raw combustion performance. That shift aligned directly with Porsche's long-term direction at the time. In a short span of time, LMP1 became the ideal environment for Porsche to develop and refine new technology that would eventually define one of the most dominant race cars in endurance racing history. In this video, we will be discussing, going over, talking about, and reviewing the all-important Porsche 919 Hybrid. Before 2011, the LMP1 class looked completely different. Between 2006 and 2009, regulations heavily favored diesel engines, allowing turbocharged diesel prototypes to compete directly against petrol-powered cars. At the same time, rule changes included smaller air restrictors that were introduced in 2007, noise limits that were capped at 113 decibels, and stricter cockpit temperature requirements. Despite these adjustments, the overall philosophy remained the same: build the fastest and most durable combustion powered car possible. Two manufacturers stood above the rest during this period: Audi and Peugeot. Audi established itself as the dominant force in the early 2000s with cars like the Audi R10 TDI and later the Audi R15 TDI, the successor to the R10. Both capable cars reaching speeds of about 211 miles per hour, which at that time was exceptionally fast. The R10 also became the first and likely only ever diesel-powered car to win Le Mans. I really don't see any team challenging that at this point, especially with the way that LMP1 is going and leaning towards hybrid cars. We're probably never going to see a diesel engine. Whether that's for good reason is a topic for another video. During this point in LMP1 racing, there was really only one other competitor, and that was Peugeot. Peugeot had their own race car that, while impressive, more often than not fell short of accomplishing wins when pitted against the R10 and the R15 in the LMP1 series. Peugeot, with their 908 HDI, had a car that secured 19 wins from 28 starts between 2007 and 2011. This car featured a 5.5-liter twin-turbo V12 diesel engine producing over 700 horsepower and 885 pound-feet of torque.
Given the strength of these programs, Porsche chose to completely reject the LMP1 class,
as they decided it just wasn't fit for their goals. Instead, Porsche focused on GT racing, developing cars that we might know today: the 911 GT3R, the 911 GT3 RSR, and later the 911 RSR. They also competed in the ALMS, or American Le Mans Series, in the LMP2 category with their Porsche RS Spider, developed in partnership with Penske Racing. That car used a 3.4-liter V8 producing around 480 horsepower, paired with a 6-speed sequential gearbox. The program was highly successful, including an overall victory at the 12 Hours of Sebring in 2008 and championship wins in 2006, 2007, and 2008. At the same time that Audi and Peugeot were battling it out in the LMP1 series, Porsche continued to develop their hybrid-related systems behind the scenes, building knowledge that would become very important later. During this period of time, it's important to note that with Audi and Peugeot focusing strictly on diesel-powered and petrol-powered engines, where honestly the focus of LMP1 was just to build the most powerful car that can last the longest, Porsche, although they didn't know it at the time, were setting themselves up for success, right? Because if you have a car that's already performing well, like they did in the ALMS and the LMP2 series with the Porsche RS Spider, they have already that knowledge base that, even though they didn't know at the time, would prove beneficial when LMP1 eventually moved into the hybrid era. But Let's continue. In 2011, the FIA and the ACO introduced the FIA World Endurance Championship, replacing the previous intercontinental structure and establishing a clear top-tier endurance series. The new structure included LMP1, LMP2, GTE Pro, and GTE AM, with LMP1 remaining as the top class. GTE, or Grand Touring Endurance, is simply like the GT cars that you've probably heard about today, right? With the McLaren, the Lambo, the Ferrari, like all that stuff. Pro and AM is just professional and amateur. So in professional, I forget exactly what the cutoff is for professional, but think of it as your much more seasoned drivers, right? Like the modern day Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Nico Hülkenberg, Neil Yanni, like those kind of people are your professional drivers. And then amateur drivers are I mean, just exactly what you can think of, amateur drivers, like maybe the first, second, third year in the racing scene, or maybe specifically in LMP1 or, you know, LMP2, whatever, depending on like what series you were in. Having those distinguished classes honestly allowed for there to be a larger breadth in not only like the development pool, but also it gave teams more variety with what kind of cars they wanted to put on track, right? Because to this day, if I'm not mistaken, McLaren doesn't have its own LMP1 or LMH as it is today, but they might have a customer company who will buy their car and then, or who will use McLaren pieces in order to make the car. So it honestly just depends on the area, and I'm honestly kind of trailing, but this stuff is interesting, so I figured I'd put this in the video. All right, on to the next topic. The updated regulations emphasize smaller engines, stricter fuel limits, improved safety, and most importantly, energy efficiency through hybrid systems. This shift created the conditions for Porsche to return. In 2014, this was the beginning for Porsche. The 919 Hybrid debuted at the Geneva Motorsport show on March 4, 2014. It featured a 2-liter turbocharged V4 engine producing approximately 500 horsepower, combined with an electric motor producing roughly 250 horsepower, bringing the total potential output for the 919 Hybrid at its debut at roughly over 830 horsepower. The car used 2 separate energy recovery systems as well. One captured thermal energy from exhaust gases, and the other converted kinetic energy under braking into electric energy stored in onboard batteries. Power was delivered through a 7-speed hydraulically operated gearbox developed specifically for the 919 Hybrid. Porsche entered 2 cars with 6 drivers: Romain Dumas, Neil Yanni, Mark Lieb in one, and Timo Bernhard, Brendan Hartley, and Mark Webber in the other. In the first season, the 919 finished 3rd in the Manufacturers' Championship behind Toyota and Audi, which is honestly an impressive result for your first season. But in 2015, that's when the breakthrough happened. In 2015, the 919 Hybrid reached an all-new high in terms of performance on track. It achieved a 100% podium rate, securing 6 consecutive wins and took 6 pole positions in a row. At Le Mans, Porsche delivered a 1-2 finish. The winning car, driven by Earl Bamber, Nico Hülkenberg, and Nick Tandy, set a new qualifying record for the 13.6-kilometer circuit. What stands out is the experience of that lineup. Bamber and Hülkenberg had no prior Le Mans experience at all, and while Tandy had raced in the GT class, the trio was relatively unproven at the top level. In 2016, Porsche and the team as a whole had to dig in a little bit deeper and find what really made them spark, because 2016, although at the end they were victorious, it didn't come without its own issues and shortcomings. The 2016 season was less about outright dominance and more about consistency. Toyota and Audi remained strong in both pace and experience, and Porsche didn't control the early part of the season. That all changed at the 24 hours of Le Mans. Toyota had led the race comfortably for pretty much the entire race, but with minutes remaining, the leading car suffered a failure on the last lap. Porsche inherited the win by the end of it. From that point forward, the performance improved across strategy, reliability, and execution. Audi began to lose ground, and Toyota struggled with consistency. By the end of the season, Porsche secured both the manufacturers and drivers' championships through steady, controlled performance. Honestly, that 24 hours of Le Mans in 2016 deserves its own video, because the amount of dominance that Toyota had exhibited throughout that entire race. I mean, if you see the garage at the end, they're literally standing there, hands in head, like, how did we possibly let this go wrong? And the real answer is, like, you did everything you could, right? I mean, you built the car, it did 23 hours, 57 minutes, right? And it was working perfectly fine. But then, just the last 3 minutes, act of God or whatever, things go wrong. But I think the story is less about, okay, what did Toyota do wrong? And more about how did Porsche manage to stay reliable and keep executing under those 24 hours of driving and be able to capitalize by the end of it on Toyota's failure. Because when I'm telling you it was the last lap, I think if you watch the video, like a video of the race with the highlight, it was literally 3 minutes left. Like the final lap, maybe like the start of the last lap. And so I just think that while that race deserves its own video, as we touch on it in this video, I just want to emphasize that there is no overstating how important it was for Porsche to win that race, because up until that point they were proven, but they needed that thing. This was the first thing I think that they experienced while after having entered the LMP1 class in the new FIA World Endurance Championship, that really put them under the, put their feet on the fire and said, you guys have to make it work. And make it work is exactly what they did. 2017 is the era, honestly, of Porsche peak performance. This is when the 919 stunned to an unprecedented level. To start the season, the entire motorsports world was shocked when Audi announced that they were leaving LMP1 at the end of the 2016 season. This decision left only Porsche and Toyota as the major competitors. Porsche introduced an updated version of the 919, this one producing over 900 horsepower, with revised aerodynamics, improved hybrid deployment, and reduced weight. Toyota began the season strongly, winning at Silverstone and Spa, and initially appeared to have the advantage. The Porsche number 2 car encountered early issues and fell way behind, but Toyota suffered multiple mechanical failures. At one stage, the LMP2 cars were actually leading the race over the LMP1 cars. Over the course of the race, Porsche recovered though. The number 2 car, driven by Bernhard, Bamber, and Hartley, made up a deficit of 19 laps. And by the end of the race, they'd won it. Following Le Mans, much like 2016, Porsche gained control of the season. Toyota did not recover from its setbacks, and Porsche went on to win at Nürburgring, Mexico, and Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. By the end of the season, Porsche had established itself as the most complete and consistent team, securing another manufacturer's championship. As I said before, much like in the 2016 season, 2017 season was the season for Porsche to really show the world who they were. There's something about German efficiency and stubbornness, like to not lose, that just gets you going, especially as an automotive and motorsports fan. But Porsche in the 2017 season of the LMP1 series, because that's the only series that they raced in, was a treat to watch, right? Like, because you had this car that had showed over the past couple of years that it was dominant. But once again, Porsche got put to the fire and they had to overcome a make or break moment. Like, is this gonna be the end of our season? And funny enough, it happened at Le Mans again. Something about 24-hour races, right? Porsche just showed the world that, like, hey, we're here to win it, and we're here to win it in style. That race was close, but pretty much every race after that, barring any mechanical failures that puts the car out of the race, were dominant wins. And I think Toyota mentally just was left reeling after Le Mans from 2016. And I think mentally they never recovered as like a racing program. And so while there is that part of the story as well, I think the main part of the story is still how Porsche were able to, one, develop a car that's that consistent, and two, choose drivers that are that consistent to pilot that car throughout the entire series and that entire season. At the end of the 2017 season, Porsche exited LMP1. With Audi already gone and Toyota as the only remaining major competitor, the category no longer offered the same level of competition or return on investment. At the same time, the automotive industry was shifting toward full electrification. Hybrid LMP1 no longer aligned with Porsche's long-term development goals. As a result, Porsche redirected its focus to Formula E. But despite leaving, Porsche's achievements were clear. They won 3 consecutive Le Mans races, secured multiple manufacturers and drivers' championships, and maintained a season with a 100% podium rate. After Porsche's departure, Toyota continued largely uncontested, and LMP1 eventually declined before being replaced by the LMH and LMDH era. Porsche didn't leave LMP1 because they fell off. They left because ROI was increasing, there weren't that many competitors, and honestly, moving towards full electrification benefited their bottom line a lot more than continuing in the hybrid series. So in other words, they left because it just didn't make any sense staying. They left for a good reason, right? Because they left at a high note. They left when they were at the top of their game. No one was talking to them. So for Porsche, I can't really say that the decision was easy, but I think in hindsight, the decision was correct. And even at the time, I think luckily for us motorsports fan though, Porsche didn't just stop and give up on the 919 Hybrid. They gave us a little treat, and that treat was called the 919 Hybrid Evo. Debuting in 2018, the 919 Evo was an example of what can happen when there are no rules and manufacturers are completely free to let their imagination and creativity run wild. With engine regulations removed, they produced an engine producing over 710 brake horsepower and an electric motor capable of 443 brake horsepower, meaning the car overall had a power output of well over 1,100 horsepower. With Neil Yanni driving, the 919 Evo broke the F1 overall record at Spa with a lap time of 1 minute and 41 seconds. Outside of Spa, the 919 Evo was driven around the world as a tribute tour for the 919 Hybrid's departure from FIA WEC, featuring at the 2018 24 Hours of Nürburgring, the Goodwood Festival of Speed, and even the Festival of Porsche at Brands Hatch. As I said before, Porsche didn't leave LMP1 because the performance dropped or because they realized they couldn't compete in the series. They left because costs were increasing, competition decreased, and the direction of technology changed. The 919 Hybrid is still a monster car, and you need to look no further than Porsche's performance between the 2015 and 2017 series to understand exactly how powerful this car was. The racing program had achieved its goals, and in doing so, the 919 Hybrid became one of the most effective and complete racing cars of its era. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, leave a comment down below if you like this kind of content. I think for the next video, I'm probably going to do rally, because I do follow WRC. It's not as popular, so I've been hesitant to make that kind of video. But hey, who knows? Maybe that video will shed some more light on what's going on over there. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, you want to see more, subscribe. If you like the video, hit the like button. And then yeah, leave a comment. Let me know if you liked it, if this kind of content works, doesn't work. Any feedback is good feedback for me. So yeah, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.